Welcome to Munson Made This. Today we are touring my kitchen and my office. Again, welcome to Munson Made This. My name is Michael. Normally I cook vegan food, make vegan recipes on this channel, but today I am not cooking anything. I am just giving you a tour of my kitchen and as well as my office. And I do have a video on my channel that we filmed quite a long time ago that is a kitchen and pantry tour, but things have changed, so I decided to give you an updated tour of what I have. And so I'm gonna just kind of go counterclockwise around my kitchen, show you what I have, and talk a little bit about some of my current obsessions like mason jars. I have a ton of them. You'll see them throughout the kitchen, and some of the accessories like this lid that I have here on top of my iced lattes. So yeah, let's start the tour. All right, let's start here with my cupboard that contains all of the dishes. Pretty standard, just plates and bowls. But one thing that I definitely love are these really big bowls. I have a couple different sizes, but these are great for salads, and a lot of the meals that I cook are just like grains and beans and a bunch of stuff thrown in a bowl with the sauce. And so these definitely come in handy. I probably use, I don't know, these bowls are probably the first thing to get dirtied up when we do dishes. So
I use them all the time.
Ben uses them a lot. He's been eating a lot of ice cream and uses those big bowls. But yeah, I mean, we use a lot of this stuff. We have way more dishes than we could ever need. The reason we have like a square set and a round set is because, you know, when two people move in together and they have their separate stuff, neither wants to let go of what they have.
Both sets are mine, actually.
Oh, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
These were a gift after. These were what we had initially. And yeah, put me on blast there. You didn't come to the table with anything. This cupboard is recently rearranged. You'll see how we move some other stuff, but this is just mugs and reusable cups and things like that. My favorite coffee mug up there.
With your Vegan Power sticker?
With my Vegan Power Company sticker. Below that, dishwasher, which in Vegas we're pretty lucky to have dishwashers, washer and dryer for clothes inside. Not every place has that, so we're lucky. This drawer, not really that special, but we do always keep reusable straws, and I always have chopsticks on hand. This is a perfect example of way too many like spoons and forks, and that's because I think the square ones were mine, the round ones were yours, and we both have kind of like a preference of like, well, I prefer this type of fork, that type of fork. Yeah. And I just got this today, actually, drying rack. I was using just this pad before. The sink likes to pile up with dishes if you don't like take care of them, and I find there's things like pots and pans that if you just quickly wash them and put them on a drying rack, that things stay a little bit cleaner. So that's kind of my goal, and that's what I am trying to do. So this is a new acquisition, but I'm already very happy with it after 2 or 3 hours of possession. Oh, a couple other things here. Cleaning, no one's really asked about it, but I use this for my cleaning. This is basically vinegar that had orange peel soaked in it with a little bit of distilled water, and it's just in an old Myers spray bottle.
Does it smell like vinegar?
It does smell like vinegar. It doesn't really smell like oranges. It smells more like vinegar, but I actually don't mind that. And then this is my compost bin, which is kind of falling apart already. Right now it has some dead plants and some coffee grounds in it, but I've been composting for a little bit over a year. I have still all of the compost. I haven't really grown much in it, so I'm offering compost to people in Vegas if you really want some. And I think that's all about it for this side of the kitchen. And let's start talking about these jars up here. When we moved into this house, this was just a big blank space between the wall and the window and the cabinets, and didn't really know what to do. Decided to get these 2 shelves from IKEA, and it completely just changed the entire kitchen. Put these 2 plants here, which are kind of outgrowing their containers. They probably do need to be
they're a little big.
Transplanted, but I love them. It's weird when I take them down to water them, how just like sort of naked the whole room and space looks. So they're, I love them, but they probably do need some updated pots. One of my major obsessions and kind of the focus of this here are my wide mouth jars. And I have a bunch of different sizes. These are the pint sizes. These I think are half gallon. And then these are quart. So I have, probably affecting the mic here. I have some other sizes I'll show you too, but these are like the three main sizes that I have. A lot of people like the aesthetic of jars from like, you know, tomato sauce or different things, and they like the mismatched appeal of having things like, I don't know, being very like, oh, you know, I've collected these jars and they're all unique and special, and I like that aesthetic, but I also really like the fact that these jars all use the same exact lids, and I'll show you that setup here in a second, and it just makes my life so much easier when kind of getting accessories for it, and also like if you need to find a lid for a jar, you know that they're all the same size lids. So some of the bigger ones there, they're a little bit low. I need to probably replenish my stock from the bulk bins, but I was also initially like labeling everything with this little clicky label maker, but I found that I was going through things a little bit faster. So things like this coconut flour and the xanthan gum, like I don't use a ton of that, so they've been able to stay there with the same label, but I just haven't really relabeled many other things because things come and go out of them quickly, and I like the fact that I can just throw them in the dishwasher and whatever. And a lot of them I can tell like, oh, these are red lentils, this is buckwheat, these are white beans. The only thing I really need to worry about are like my white rices, because I have like a sushi rice and like arborio rice, or if I have a longer grain rice, sometimes I like to be able to see what it is. So I've been using just like a grease pencil, which this one's kind of worn off, to mark that this one is sushi rice. You can't really see it right now. I've kind of reused the old arborio label, just so I know that that is rice for risotto versus rice for sushi. I mentioned that the cupboard here that had all of the mugs and stuff in it was kind of like a new movement, and that's because I used to have all my storage containers up there and it wasn't really working. And now I've moved all my storage containers up here, and this is kind of my like mason jar HQ. I have these small, I'm not even sure what size these are, just these small little containers. I think these are also a pint, they're just a different shape. And then these are a pint and a half, and these are nice, like I use these like I showed you for my latte, I use these for drinks, but they're also nice if you just need like a little bit more space in the jar than a regular pint. And then the lids, I like these white plastic lids. These are really nice because again, they're all the same, it's universal. I watched a documentary about Legos, and the reason why Legos were so successful is because it's a play system, everything goes together. So I like to think that I have like a storage system where everything goes together. So these white lids are nice, and you can find it here. I use this grease pencil here to label them, and you'll see that more in the fridge, how I use that, but this is my preferred way of storing things, although I do still have some other Pyrex glass jars with plastic lids, and there's definitely certain things that go better in those that are more shallow. And then yeah, all the glasses, again, we have our preferred things. Ben loves these, what are they called, Tervis?
Tervis.
This is a Bubba. Ben loves his Tervis, so he's got that sort of section over there, and then
Just because they keep your drink so cold.
they do. That's one thing I do like, the aesthetic of like keeping my drink in this jar, but it's not gonna keep it cold. Also, I made this out of an old sock. It's just a,
So proud of the sock, the reused sock.
hey, when I put it on Instagram, it was pretty popular.
Yeah, more like Etsy.
If y'all want me to open up an Etsy shop. But they're really great because especially if you put hot drinks in here, which you can in these jars, it'll keep it from burning you, but also because of condensation and stuff, which it's not too humid here, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, also here's my water. I've been drinking my water in these jars. And I'll show you all about these lids and stuff a little bit later, but this is kind of what I carry around the house these days.
Do you have to keep taking drinks with them?
Yeah, I'm just showing how they work. I forgot to talk about some things here. So this is future Michael here, who's setting up for Munson 8 this. And just remember, there are some things that I forgot to mention about lids and things. So this bowl here is all of my accessories. I was talking about the Lego system of mason jars. So this here is a sprouting jar, which you can sprout things, and again, I'll have access to all of these different things below, but this is for sprouting like mung beans or different seeds, but I really like these for actually like rinsing off grains. So I'll put like some rice or quinoa in a jar, put this lid on, fill it with water, and then it's like a little strainer lid for that. I've showed you these a couple of times on the tops of these jars. These are really cool. You can seal them off. You can even put like a little blender ball in there like this, and you can make like protein shakes. So you can use your jar as whatever one of the containers would be that has this on top. I also have these lids, which go just on top of the jar as well. That's actually what these straws originally come from. You just use the little metal ring on top and it secures it. So if you wanted it sort of a cup with a straw, you have these. These were in the video for fermentation. These are the fermentation lids, which are really cool. And that's just more of the strainer ones. So yeah, forgot to put this clip in there. So that's what I wanted to mention. So anyways, back to the video. All right, that's enough up here. I'll get to my appliances in a bit. But I love this rice cooker here. I think it's Zojirushi. And this actually does have rice in it right now. I like to make a batch of rice, try to keep it on hand. Sometimes it runs out and I don't have it, but I like to keep it on hand. I actually made this last night. It's cool if it sits in here. It's pretty sealed overnight. Probably after this video, I'll end up putting it in a jar or something. Which, let's skip down to this drawer here. I use these funnels, and I'll have a link below that has a link to a lot of this stuff you're seeing here, but these funnels are really nice, especially if you have like a jar system for getting things into the jars. These are really nice because they're stainless, but I almost prefer this little plastic one just because it has a wider mouth hole and you can get bigger items into jars. So I like that. This little guy here is an egg, like an egg mold. This is what we use when we make Beyond Burgers. They come in the already formed patties. We separate them into 2 patties each and reform them with this.
Yeah, Beyond Burgers seem to be so much better in a smaller patty size.
Yeah, not having the like big burger. It's more like a fast food burger, which there's a video on my channel for like vegan McDonald's, and I show you all about that.
It's really convincing.
Sushi mat, this one's plastic, or I think it might even be silicone. This is nice because you don't have to use any plastic wrap. And if you've seen some of my like later sushi videos, I use this.
Don't you have a wood one?
I do have a bamboo one, which is fine. If this is all you have, that's fine. But if you want to do like an inside out roll where the rice is on the outside, you have to use plastic wrap with this because otherwise the rice will stick. A couple other random things in there. Silicone bottle brush, which is nice for cleaning reusable bottles. But I've honestly switched a lot over to using the mason jars a little bit more, so I just pop those in the dishwasher. This is my like cutting things drawer. There's a mandolin for making dog treats, which I'll probably do a video on those one day.
The toadies, whenever those come back.
I bought this. It's an egg slicer. I bought it for slicing mushrooms, and it didn't really work well, but I've still kept this. Pizza cutter, obviously. Other little slice. Ice cream scoop. I don't know why this is in the cutting drawer. Maybe just more room. Bench scrapers are always nice to have. This is for julienne slicing. Oh, Tuffy's shown up here to see what's going on. And of course, a microplane for grating things. What's going on, Tuffy? Okay. Bottom drawer has storage stuff. There's some plastic wrap and parchment, which I don't use a ton of that. I do really like these reusable stasher bags. These are silicone bags.
What do those cost a piece? They're kind of expensive.
They're kind of expensive. And they do hold on to smells and they kind of stain a bit. I want to say They're between maybe like, depending on the size, like $15, $20, maybe $25.
But worth it?
I think they are worth it. I do really enjoy them, and I find that I can just pop them in the dishwasher, clean them. I very rarely use Ziploc bags. I think there's a couple in there, but I don't know. I use the jars more, or the other like Pyrex containers more than I use a bag, I guess. You'll see when we go into the fridge that there's not much like in a bag. These are really amazing. I bought this set on Amazon. These are silicone lids, and they're in a variety of sizes. I have actually one more size down here. And these are just nice because you can put them over a bowl, you can put them over a pot, you can put them over a jar, and they even have a really small size, which is nice. But these are cool because you don't have to use plastic wrap. You just put this on the top, they kind of suction on there, and they are just the same as, like I said, like a plastic wrap. Or you can even cook with them, like if you would normally cover something to bake in the oven with like aluminum foil, you could use these silicone lids. And oh, binder clips. I use a ton of these. These are like my bag clips. Don't tell anyone, but when I taught out of school, I would take these. There was a surplus, no one's missing out.
Scandal.
Scandal. So I use a lot of those, and rubber bands. Whenever I buy vegetables or produce that comes with a rubber band on it, I always save them, and I use them quite a bit. Top drawer. You doing okay holding this, Ben?
I'm gonna need like a little break in a second.
All right, let's show you this drawer and then we'll switch angles. This drawer here is really not cute, but this is where all my spices are. I try every once in a while to try to straighten it out.
It used to be more organized.
It has been more organized, but I just have so many. I try to keep things in this size of jar, so when I buy spices, I try to make sure it's in this size, the square, and I can reuse those. And most of them are spices either bought in bulk or in like bags, and I just put them into these. But
which makes it hard to know what spice is what, because a lot of them are unlabeled.
and I do try to label them. There's not really much that isn't labeled. This one is garlic powder, but I know that that's garlic. But most everything in here you'll see is labeled. Chili flake is not labeled.
What is that?
Paprika is not labeled. Ancho is labeled. But I use a ton of different spices, and there's some things like the Beaumont that I use for my Hemingway burger that I don't use a ton, but I save. Some Indian spices, some various things. But I prefer the spices in a drawer, especially when I'm standing here cooking. I can just grab it, just really quick, easy. Sometimes I have to search for things, but I cook more than Ben does, so I know what things are more than he does.
There's also the secret cutting board.
Oh yeah, which we've never used.
Ever.
So. Cool, well, that's about it for here, and then we can move on to the cupboards. The other cupboard, the pantry cupboard.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, do you guys want a cube? Here you go. Enjoy. All right, let's get back to this. Before we get too far into like the major pantry cupboard, I do have this space up here above the microwave, which is like my grains cupboard. Couple things, like gluten, grits I haven't put into jars yet, but for the most part, I try to keep things jarred up. Chickpea flour, tapioca flour, potato, rice, semolina, breadcrumbs, gluten-free flour. This is some salt from doing carrot lox that I've saved in case I want to make carrot lox again. So that's kind of just, those all stay up there. Microwave, stove, as you've seen. I've been trying to, when I make my coffee, which I'll show you that coffee situation here in a minute, I like to use this kettle for that. And then inside the oven, I do keep my pizza stone and my cast iron pan as well. So that's that. Countertop here, my favorite. I probably use this more than I use what we call the big oven. This is my Breville Smart Oven Air, and I recently got this pizza stone for that from a thrift store. It was like $6 or $7, hadn't been used. So been cooking pizzas in here and various things using that pizza stone. And
it comes out just as good as the big oven.
yeah, I think maybe even better. It has this air fryer basket, which you've seen a lot in on this channel. And I use these mats. Actually, I have an open package. Kind of forgot to show that cupboard. These, how are we with light? These Yoshi copper, I use these a lot. Again, if you've watched any of my videos, not sponsored, I have just like cut these up into various sizes. I use these instead of like baking sheets. And I'll just put like tofu or whatever it is directly on there. It's sort of like a Silpat, which, now I've made a mess down here. It's sort of like a Silpat, which I have. It's just a little bit thinner. It's sort of like parchment meets Silpat. This is just baking dishes. Do you want to show in there? Have some Le Creuset baking dishes, glass Pyrex stuff, muffin pans, my rolling pin, drying racks. Okay.
Yeah, way to go.
I didn't want to intentionally like overly, okay, this is a mess. Like get things too super nice. I wanted it to be like how it is on a daily basis in this house. So that's just how things are in this kitchen. So love the smart oven, some various sizes of cutting boards. But to be honest, I actually like to use these.
I don't feel like you ever use those cutting boards.
I use them more for videos. I have some like plastic, like really thin cutting boards that I use more often for like the real stuff, just because I hate cleaning these and I hate them smelling like onions. Pepper grinder, salt. I like to use salt like this. I don't have like a salt shaker. Recently got this sugar thing at a thrift store. And then I've reused whatever was in here. I think it was like sesame seeds or something, but keeping nutritional yeast in this, and this stays on the counter at all times because I add nutritional yeast to a lot of things. Little bowl of onions, which this usually has other fruits and vegetables and stuff in it as well. And I always keep this paper bag, and this is how I ripen up avocados. So if I buy avocados at the store, they're not ripe, throw them in this paper bag.
I basically demand that Michael keeps onions chopped up at all times as well.
Which you'll see in the fridge. I'm a little bit behind on that. Coffee, you want to get back there? I have a coffee grinder, which I use, grind my coffee fresh. And then to the right of that, this is an AeroPress, and this is how I've been making my coffee recently. It's how I make like espresso for the iced coffee you saw me sipping a little while ago. I have pretty much every method of making coffee there is, and this is just the current one.
It changes every month.
Something like that. This here is the most awkwardly...
Yeah, it's hard to, kind of hard to get back there with the way it opens.
I probably won't get back in there. The top shelf has all-purpose flour, some various baking things. The important things down here, I guess I can pull a few things out and show them.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I feel like that you use that's in there.
Yeah, let me pull some stuff out and then we'll like, I'll just show it off. So these items are probably the most used in that cupboard. Bragg's liquid aminos, I probably put this in every savory dish that I cook. And sesame oil, I add a few drops of that to anything that's kind of Asian inspired. This stuff here, I buy it at an Asian market. It is a mushroom bouillon powder, or granules actually. And I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty much just straight MSG, but it adds a great flavor to broths, and if you're trying to just like add a bit of umami to a dish, a little bit of that works really well. Some agave, some olive oil, maple syrup, which I'm almost out of. I have rice vinegar and seasoned rice vinegar because it's easier for me just to pour this in sushi rice and not worry about measuring salt or sugar for that. And then of course some apple cider vinegar, which is my other vinegar of choice. I do have some like avocado oil and some other vinegars and stuff, but I don't cook a ton with oil. I mean, I do use oil. I'm not like against oil, but I don't use it a ton. So there's some avocado oil in there, some balsamic vinegar, and a bunch of other random stuff. But these are the things that get used most of the time. And then this cupboard, I guess, is pretty much our main pantry. Again, I didn't organize any of this before doing this because I wanted you to see what it actually looks like.
What about those?
What? Sour Patch Kids cereal?
Yeah.
Both the Sour Patch Kids cereal and Oreo O's were gifts for Ben when I made a trip to Big Lots. They do appear to both be vegan. Yeah, these are kind of bizarre.
Kind of disgusting.
It's like, imagine a, what are the, Fruit Loop. Imagine like a Fruit Loop with sour on it. It's kind of strange. These taste like exactly what you would expect them to taste like. They're pretty good. But this is more of my cereal of choice. I love this Kashi Cinnamon Harvest, which we've been eating a lot of cereal lately, sort of as like a snack or a dessert.
Like rediscovered cereal.
Yeah. Vegan protein powder. This is a Sprouts brand I bought because it was cheap. I love these Mary's Gone crackers. I bought these because they were on sale, which they're normally like so expensive. And probably my guiltiest pleasure, all dressed up potato
Hiding up in the
chips.
corner.
Not really hiding, they're just there waiting for me. And rice paper wrappers, some nori for sushi, and then some soy wrappers as well because Ben doesn't like nori. But I haven't made sushi in like a while.
You should.
I should. Down here, some tomatoes, some canned beans. I always keep silken tofu on hand. I love it it's great for making sauces, but I also love to add it to ramen, which
It's very good.
we have some, the chili top ramen and the, what is it? It's not
Soy-
Orient, it's
soy sauce.
soy sauce. It used to be called Oriental. These two are both vegan, so keep those on hand. Rice noodles we used in the Drunken Noodle video. I love Banza pasta. It is chickpea pasta. It's so great, so filling. I don't think it's too much to get used to. It's maybe slightly different than like a wheat pasta, but
I can't tell the difference.
yeah. These were on sale at Target 2 for $5, so I got those. Tofu press, which I've been using so much and I didn't have anywhere else to put it, so it's been in here. If you can see back there.
It's normally in the fridge.
Yeah, pressing tofu. Some coconut cream back there. I don't love coconut cream. I need some coconut milk. And I've been snacking on these. Oddly, the Planters brand of dry roasted peanuts had gelatin in it. The store brand was a little bit cleaner, but why would you need to put gelatin on roasted peanuts? More jars again here. Some extra gluten-free flour for breading tofu. And then have a few different kinds of noodles. This is a brown rice noodle. This is a brown rice back there. This is a black bean pasta, some rice noodles, and a little bit of TVP that's left over from something. Current favorite flavor of Cliff Bar, caramel toffee. So good. I think that's all there. Below, this is where we keep our towels. It's not that cute. This drawer is a mess, but probably the most used drawer. I've tried to pick which kitchen utensils I use more than others. So this is like I use these a ton. Pretty much I cook most things with these or this spatula, and this is where I keep also measuring cups, measuring spoons. It's always a mess, but I use it all of the time, so I'm okay with that. Down here, measuring cups. This thing, I've talked about it a few times. It's so cool. It's actually a coffee filter from IKEA, but I've actually been using this a lot to make my own like almond milk or cashew milk. And it's actually works really well. As if you don't want to use a nut milk bag or squeeze it out, you can use this and it works just as well. Found these at a thrift store. They're little shot glasses, but they're actually measurements for tablespoons, teaspoons. So I bought a bunch of those because they were cheap. Some strainers. I think in the back there are some like old jars.
Cheese grater.
There is a cheese grater, which I use for carrots. And then this one's a mess too. But the highlights down here, this is where I keep my famous nonstick pan, which is well loved, well used. And this has done me well. It is a Curtis Stone. I bought this on HSN late at night. Ben was asleep. I impulse bought it because it was on sale. and I love it. I recommend it to everybody. We bought Ben's.
Literally gets used every single day.
Yeah, I bought Ben's mom, or did we buy it? Yeah, we bought Ben's mom a set of these for Christmas. His brother's husband bought him a set as well. So I love this pan. I want to get another one just like it, but I can only find them in sets. So if you know where I can get a Curtis Stone DuraPan, just a singular one, let me know. Back there's another pot.
There's those cutting boards you talked about.
Yeah, these are the cutting boards that I use. These are like my secret cutting boards. I love this one. My mom gave it to me. It's, again, well loved, but it's nice. Easy cleanup. And that way you can chop onions and just like pour it into the jar. My Le Creuset collection down here.
Those things actually come out, the swivel thing.
Yeah, but I think I have it sort of, well, it's not as great as you'd think.
Yeah.
A couple different sizes. I have a large, can you see that down there?
Yep.
Large bone colored. These are kiwi. And then back there is all my various coffee making things. I was doing pour overs for a while, and that was my pour over thing.
We gotta change batteries.
Okay, we gotta change batteries, and well, the fridge is next, so we're gonna cut here and then we'll go to the fridge. Here is the fridge. Again, reiterating, I didn't clean or straighten anything up prior to doing this. I'm gonna start here talking about the stuff in the door. I tried to get away from buying minced garlic, but it is so good and so handy, so I love to keep that on hand. Vegetarian, better than bouillon, no chicken, a little bit hard to find, but I put this in pretty much everything. Gochujang, obsessed with it. I don't use as much as I used to, but I should. Some yeast for making bread and pizza dough, and then this not chicken bouillon cube, which I don't really love. A friend gave me this like ginger stuff. It's fine. These jars here, this shelf doesn't have any my wide mouth jars, but I've tried to keep these kind of together. But these are things that I like to add to oats or smoothies. So hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, some slivered almonds, some pumpkin seeds, and then nuts like walnuts and cashews for making sauces, and of course some Frank's Red Hot hiding back there. I love tahini. I love making sauces with tahini, and there's just a ton of
Random
various
stuff.
things. Highlights, hoisin sauce. I use that a lot. Sriracha, which we're almost out of. Liquid smoke is great for adding, obviously, smokiness to things.
A little goes a long way.
Little goes a very long way. Mirin is great for making things like teriyaki sauces, but I have a really great miso maple dressing that uses that. Various hot sauces, and of course, you have to have Vegenaise and some barbecue sauce, almost out of ketchup. That's about it. Oh, sweet chili sauce. We use a lot of this too. The other sauce that I love a ton, sambal. Doesn't fit in the door right now, but I'm okay. As well as some taco seasoning. My favorite peanut butter in the world, Trader Joe's, creamy, salted. I open this up, stir it, and then I keep it in the fridge, and it doesn't separate, which is great. Now you can see the jars in full effect. I like to keep my celery in a jar. This is how I label things. So this is some tofu I air fried last night.
Very good.
Tofu 8-9. Things like coconut milk. I have some baking mix, which is not labeled. This is my Bisquick, which is used for making pancakes. These are the sauces that you saw in the Drunken Noodle video. Try to do a little meal prep kind of thing. This is a
Is that the seitan?
this is seitan that I made in the bread maker. It looks really strange, but it's super delicious, and I'm probably gonna make like a sandwich or a wrap with that. And what other random things do I have in jars? Some refried beans. I told you that my onion game is a little bit off,
Ooh, that's really low.
so I need to refill that. But homemade chickpeas that I made in the Instant Pot. There's some marinara sauce in there.
Oh, I haven't tried that marinara sauce yet.
You haven't tried it. I just made like a homemade marinara sauce with some fresh and canned tomatoes the other day, and You can see these lids get maybe a little bit dirty if I don't wash them too well, but it's just nice to have everything labeled. You know exactly what everything is. Some Beyond Burgers that are pre-made, which need to be eaten.
Yeah, I'll probably eat those later.
I believe these jars, I was out of the white lids when I put this in here, but these jars are the perfect size for saving avocado. So I just take about 1/4 of it off, keep it in that jar. It's nice. These are my favorite flatbread right now. I buy them at Albertsons. Even says vegan friendly. It's like the perfect marriage.
They're so pillowy.
It's like a pita meets pizza dough. If you've ever had like the chalupas at Taco Bell,
It's that, yeah.
it's
like
that. Ezekiel tortillas, though we have a couple different kinds of tortillas. Ben is vegetarian, he's not vegan. We don't really drink milk. We have almond milk all the time. Say like cheese is one of your last sort of give
I don't
outs.
have any in the fridge right now.
You don't, but you do have some cookie dough in there that is technically not vegan. Also, tofu. I find a half block of tofu perfectly fits in a mason jar. Just put in a little bit of water, some miso, some quinoa, not labeled, some cashews that are soaking to make cashew milk. Little plug for my Patreon. I do have a Patreon, which I will link below, and I do a show called Munson Ate This? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
he eats food.
Munson Ate This. So after this, I'm going to be throwing a bunch of stuff in my fridge together and making
What are you gonna
a
make?
meal. It's going to be like a quinoa, rice, tofu, avocado
It's like an everything bowl.
bowl. An everything bowl. I like that. I have some potatoes that I cooked in an Instant Pot, and these are waiting to be turned into a potato salad, which I need to film that video in the next day or two. Miyoko's butter, some
I need to
sliced
try that.
Gouda. I just bought this yesterday.
Yeah, I wanna try that.
It's okay. And I was just kind of craving some like lunch meat. There's one of the plastic bags. But
I'm
I'm
afraid to try vegan lunch meat. I need to try that as well.
I think we're gonna do a tasting one day, or at least a sandwich. But sometimes I really just get a craving for like vegan processed meats, and sometimes that's exactly what I need, and it hits the spot, and I'm okay
like
with
a
that.
lunch meat sandwich is kind of like the one thing that's really hard to find a vegan version of.
Almost out of dates. I keep these in a jar. Also, sweet potatoes that need to be cooked. Nasoya, these need to be used.
What are those?
They are organic vegan Thai basil dumplings. So I haven't tried these yet, but they sent me a coupon for a product, so I got this free from them, not sponsored. They just sent me, a
I wanna
coupon.
try those.
So maybe we'll try these later today too. Always keep lemons on hand. They go in everything. Reusable produce bags. Right now, broccoli is in there. I think I have like a half cucumber as well. And the bottom drawer just has potatoes, carrots. That's pretty much it. Freezer is also a bit sloppy. Bought these at Trader Joe's yesterday. They are vegan friendly rice and bean burritos.
Which those are not the ones that we were buying.
You were buying from Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
but they were like bean and rice, but they did have cheese.
Okay.
But these ones are vegan, so I can try them as well. Some Ezekiel brand, what are these called? English muffins, because I just don't use them that often. This, it looks kind of messy, but this is fish sauce in cubes.
Gross.
Yeah. I keep all of my overflow spices up here as well. So I just buy bags of things like, what is that? Coriander. There's some oregano. There's all sorts of spices, but I
Do you
just keep
need
them
to keep it in the freezer?
I think it's just gonna stay fresher in the freezer, and I have the space. I have more space here than I do in cupboards.
What is this?
These are, anytime I've bought like this kind of stuff, so it's like an Asian vegetable mix from like, this one's not really showing well, but from Trader Joe's or things like that, they always come with a packet of seasoning, and I always save it in case I decide to use it one day.
As flavoring for something?
Yeah, some old burger patties, frozen vegetables that are partially used. Try to keep them in the door so I can see them easier and know what I have. Have a whole video how to use frozen peas. What else? Oh, I lose things in here. Some vegetable spring rolls from Trader Joe's.
Didn't know we had those.
Other odds and end tortillas. These are pretty good. Chickenless mandarin morsels from Trader Joe's. They're sort of like the Gardein chicken nuggets that you toss in an orange sauce. A friend of mine who worked for a company that made a plant-based meat sent me like
Worked
12
or
pounds. He works somewhere else now. He sent me 12 pounds, I can't even get it, of these like vegan soy, I'm gonna make a mess here, soy crumble things. These are actually really great. I mean, it's just like a processed soy-based product.
Yeah, we were eating like a lot of tacos.
But they're
for a
really
while.
great to make tacos with. Just season them up, and I like to put it in the air fryer. And then Ben's got some ice cream hidden back there too. And I think that's all for the freezer.
Yeah, what is this?
What?
I didn't know we had Otter Pops.
These are not, they're Pedialyte. They were from, Ben and I clean a house occasionally, and somebody had left those, so I brought them home. All right, oddly, I broke a sweat showing you guys the freezer. But last stop is my main closet that has all of my cooking gadgets, and then we'll go into the office. This is, how long has this video been?
Way too long.
Whatever.
All right, let's go over
Cool,
there.
let's go over there. This is what it looks like. Air fryer, original one over here. Old Keurig, which I haven't used in a while.
A what?
Keurig, did I say it right? Keurig?
Keurig.
Deep fryer we never use. A salad spinner that's either in here or in the fridge with lettuce in it. Little burner that I tried to use for making videos. Sandwich press, which I haven't used yet, but I do want to do a video with. I love this thing. This is my $2 bread machine. Also the same brand as my rice maker. And we use this for making pizza dough. I use this for making the bread maker seitan I just showed you. And I use it for making bread.
Is that a juice maker?
This is a juicer. It is a really high-end, I forget the name. It's a really nice juicer, a really expensive juicer. I got a really great deal on it because it was a return for at Bed Bath & Beyond. And I've used it, I just don't juice that much. I feel like it's so wasteful. I don't know, I feel like even though I try to use the pulp for other things and the juice tastes good, I just don't use it. You can make actually like almond milk and soy milk in here as well. Comes out really well, but it's just the cleanup. I do love my air popper, use that quite a bit, as well as my spiralizer. I have a tortilla press. Probably one of the most used next to my smart oven is the NutriBullet. Still have my old school, actually this one's yours, right Ben?
Yeah.
The reason I have a NutriBullet is because my friend Adam actually melted my Magic Bullet in his oven. And so he let me borrow his NutriBullet, but now he's moved to the Bay Area, so I've kept it and I'm okay with that. But I use that so often. I have a Vitamix, as well as the like dry grain blender, but I honestly use the NutriBullet all the time.
Yeah, the NutriBullet's the one that's always out.
I use it all of the time. Old school Cuisinart, what is it called? Food processor with various accessories. This behemoth is an ice cream maker that anytime I've tried to test ice cream, I haven't really been happy with the process, but again,
You tried to make like basil ice cream, like just make vanilla and
people
chocolate.
are into that. But this is the same thing. It was a return at Bed Bath & Beyond. I got it for a really great price, so I had to buy it. Dehydrators back there, which this is where my rice maker normally goes. Instant pot, probably the third most used thing in my kitchen. And then finally, I do have a stand mixer, which I don't use that often, especially now that I have the bread maker for making dough.
Odie.
Odie thinks something's going on, which it is, right? It is. And the bottom hidden down here is my scale. But not a big deal. All right, are we going into the office?
Yeah.
We just walking in there?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Come on, guys.
So this is my office. This has sat dormant for quite a while until, hi, I know, you're so excited. Hi. Till the same friend that moved to the Bay Area, hi, Adam, shout out to Adam, was getting rid of this. I don't know if he would have gotten rid of it if I didn't ask for it, but this is an IKEA Island. It's just a bigger version of the one that I use for our videos. Oh crap, they've got the microphone. All right, we're good. You want to let us know when you're done?
Are you guys,
Sweetie.
You guys good? Trying to film a video.
Is it almost their dinner time? No, they have another hour. But this has become my desk. I had to find a chair that was actually tall enough because this is taller than a normal desk. Ben sold me his old gaming laptop, which is what I use to edit videos and things. But yeah, this is my desk. I love it. I love the look of it. I love the sort of stains and burns. It's got character. We just mounted this up a little while ago. It's just a magnet board, slowly filling up with things. Same company, Vegan Power Company, that I have their thing on my coffee mug. Have some more stickers just waiting for the perfect. Don't show them my ideas. This is where I keep all of my plants. No, it's all of the dishes that I use for shooting photos. I don't use that many of them. I just kind of collect them and I'm like, oh, these are cool. And then whenever I go to use them to actually shoot photos or videos, I don't like them as much. So I actually use a very limited number of these things, but I kind of like it as a collection. And I've just moved all my mixing bowls in here.
I feel like you use most of this stuff.
Do you think so?
At some point or another.
Yeah. Plant we got also from Adam. Old school filing cabinet that I've had for probably 20 years. I've just carried around with me everywhere. This here is my attempt at trying to make a little photo studio clip paper or something back here and then have these lights set up and it's a little photo.
There's good lighting under that window usually.
Yeah, so it hasn't really been used all that much, but I wanted to be able to have like a permanent picture taking setup. So that's what this is.
Why do you have a name tag?
It was from an old office job that I have and they let me have it when I quit. My grandmother, Phyllis, this picture that I've had for years, which if you ever watched like the Drew Carey show, there was like I forgot the name of the lady that was like the crazy lady on that show. She had the same picture. His name's Kevin. Is it showing up on camera? Is he moving?
A little bit.
It's just it's a poodle that moves.
And I think you guys can decide if you agree, but I think Michael looks a lot like his grandma.
Really?
Yeah. You guys have similar faces.
My dad's mom. Various works of art. I love this Nespresso machine. I'm currently out of pods, but I've been using that AeroPress to make espresso, and it's kind of doing it for me. Nice IKEA piece of furniture with a bunch of books and a bunch of dust.
Bunch of books.
This is like my LGBTQ shelf.
The whole shelf?
No, I mean there's some random stuff in there, but I don't know. When I was trying to organize, it seemed like a good theme. And then more books. I don't know if you can see. This is where I keep all my cookbooks and such. The bottom of the other side of the desk. In the closet, there's just kind of a bunch of junk. I'm not going to open that. But I was going to Starbucks pretty much every single day to like work on things, to respond to YouTube comments, to type up recipes. And since I got my office together and since I feel like it's decorated the way that I like and it feels cozy and I like being in here, I haven't been to Starbucks once. Just make my own coffee, come in here, sit, put on some music, write, edit photos. It's amazing. And look at my plants, which Ben hates because they're so gargantuan.
I don't hate them at all. I just think the one is like a little much.
It's living its best life. It's like all the way around the window.
Yeah, I love plants. Don't give me a bad name on your channel.
He hates plants. All right, well, I think that's it. Was this where we end it?
Yeah, unless you got something else to...
I don't really have anything else to say. But thank you for watching. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I have my Patreon, which is where Munson ate this is. $5 membership there allows you to watch all of those videos, so please join me over there. Like I said, I'm gonna be throwing some things together from my fridge and making a meal and eating it. And it's just sort of like a eating, talking show. If you're into that, it's kind of that. But I don't like eat an insane amount of food. It's like reasonable amounts of food. So follow me over there, subscribe to that. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet already. I'll be back next time with another recipe video. I know this is different than normal because I normally cook, but people have been asking for this and needed an update. So this is kind of a tour of, not kind of, this was a tour of my kitchen, which is mostly vegan, and my office, which is mostly vegan. So thank you again for watching. Thanks to those that are already subscribed to my Patreon. Oh yeah, hit the bell, hit the notification, because there are people that have been commenting like, hey, I didn't know you had a new video coming out. It didn't tell me. So have to hit the bell and it'll let you know that a new video is coming out. So that's all. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself, and check out my other videos if you haven't yet already. And I'll be back next time with another recipe video. So bye.
Bye.